Coming up on FTC Recap, CRI is just around the corner. We'll talk about top picks, dark horse themes, and release the breakdown of the match schedule, all here on FTC Recap.
This video on First Updates Now is made possible by viewers like you and also the following sponsors. Apply the skills you gained as a first student or mentor and help change the world at Stryker. Stryker is the top career choice for many of those in FIRST because of their commitment to innovation and saving lives. Learn more about the incredible culture at Stryker and view their thousands of positions available around the world at careers.stryker.com. Discover MSOE, where hands-on learning today can lead to real-world applications tomorrow, including their We Energy STEM Center built to support FIRST teams. Head on over to msoe.edu/visit to see a virtual tour and schedule your campus visit today.
Welcome to FTC Recap, where we provide you the latest breakdowns on FTC events. For First Updates Now, I'm Ishan.
I'm Abbas James.
And I'm Sahil Talwalkar.
This episode, we have our CRI Preview. CRI is a premier FTC event with some awesome modifications. You can watch this live Saturday and Sunday at twitch.tv/firstupdatesnow. Before we talk about teams and matches competing, let's talk about the CRI game and how it's different than the traditional Fright Frenzy game.
Yeah, sure. So, since the name of the game is Freight Frenzy, let's just start by talking about the changes to the number of freight at CRI. In the normal season, there were 80 freight in the match with, 40 in each warehouse, and CRI will be doubling that to 160. However, because there is an additional warehouse known as the near warehouse, they'll be splitting the number of freight into thirds. This results in about 151 freight when accounting for preloads in each warehouse. The number of ducks isn't changed, and as I mentioned, there's a new near warehouse, which is on the expanded part of the field. And this is between the freight in the near warehouse is dead center between both alliances, so neither alliance has an advantage. And what's interesting with the near warehouse is that teams can't get points for parking in the near warehouse in endgame, but can in autonomous. And now I think the most unique part of CRI is definitely the additional hub. So the cooperative shipping hub is identical to the traditional shared hub, except for the fact that it has a 1-inch spacer between the base and the actual hub part. And this means that the hub is now 4 inches tall instead of 3 inches, which also means that it'll tip more and more easily. And so the idea here is that teams can score on the co-op hub in auto for 6 points per freight, 4 points in teleop, and at the end of the game, if the hub is balanced, both alliances will receive 4 points per freight on the hub period. Just like on either side of the hub, they'll receive 4 points. But if the freight is on both sides of the hub, you won't get any points for it. And so, it'll definitely be super interesting to see if teams decide to balance it or if they just go for, that intake and dump thing that they're used to doing all season. Theoretically, freight on the co-op hub can be worth 14 points. And also, just like every other CRI, matches will be 3v3 instead of 2v2 all the way to the end.
Yep, really exciting.
And the playoffs, instead of the traditional FTC elimination style, it will be a round robin style in which each seed will play each other. So 1 will play 4, 2 will play 3, 1 will play 3, 1 will play 2, etc., etc., etc. And each alliance will play a minimum or will play 3 matches and then go on to finals. I think a good point that I remember someone bringing up is that it might reduce some of the hype or suspense going into finals. But I think all the teams in eliminations will be very, very grateful to just have more time playing with their alliance and seeing what everyone else is doing and things like that. So overall, I'm really excited to see how this goes and, if it's ever implemented in FTC, for real.
Yeah, a lot of really excited changes there. Hopefully we'll see some exciting matches this weekend. Let's now talk about some of the teams that are on Abbas's, Sahil, and my radar for top contenders, and a couple of teams that might be dark horses that could be an alliance captain or a top pick. We'll then bring out the match schedule and talk about some key matchups. After, we'll give some final predictions on who's going to win the 2022 CRI. Let's jump right into it, Abbas. Break down who your top locks are for this event.
Yeah, I think I'm going to start off with a team that isn't a surprise to anyone anymore. I'm going to have to go with the winning alliance captain of MTI, Team 12835 Pixelated. I'm still kicking myself a little for not seeing how strong they were coming into MTI, but I'm thankful that we know their potential for CRI. I highly doubt they'll be making any changes for the competition. It's just been 2 weeks since MTI, and I think their biggest advantage is consistency. And even though they weren't setting a world record every match or 350, 360 points every match, it was just how fluid and smooth they were on the field that led them be the number one alliance and ending MTI with the highest qualification average. And I personally expect them to continue playing the alliance specific hub. But what do you guys think? Do you think they'll do anything different? Do you think we'll see some new strategies? What's going on with Pixelated?
Alliance specific hub is where the points are, at least until you have 2 solid teams, in this case 3 solid teams on the team that on the field that are going to support you, and so they'll be able to carry themselves through the qualifications by playing that alliance specific hub. And then when it comes to finals, I think they might go a little adventurous, but they can also get the partners to do that. And I think again they will pick a team that can play shared hub or that cooperation hub. That way they can stick with what they know best.
Yeah, I think like basically the whole idea of them using the lines would definitely be as their advantage since they've been doing that MTI and they got that fluidity down. But I feel like they might like do a little bit playing around and like have like a backup autonomous in case like let's say no one on their alliance has the near warehouse. So maybe they'll have that as an option just in case to add more pros to their alliance.
Yeah, one thing I think that I'm like sort of just realizing now is their slide system is super, super useful for scoring over the barrier onto like the traditional alliance shipping hub from the near warehouse side. So, maybe they won't be doing that for teleop, but I think in auto, in order to get that preload on, which is going to be a ton of points, it would be super, super useful if they could do that.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Let's hear your pick, Sahil.
Yeah, so for my first pick, I picked a Romanian team, which is a pretty powerful alliance in general, and this is no other than 14277 Cube. They're present at the Romanian National Champions and had a high score of 305. Since they definitely had a lot more to improve over the time since their last tournament, they definitely have a chance to put a better game up.
Yeah, that bot looks like Delta Force. Super fast, super small, super light. Expect them to be top scorers for, again, that Alliance-specific hub. I don't see them and Pixelated getting together just because they're both Alliance-specific hub robots, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, no, I think all right. One thing personally, a little worried about that wiring sticking out. Hopefully, 3 robots on the other lines that could pull that wire or entangle with it. Hopefully nothing like that happens at CRI. Ishan, what's your top pick?
Yeah, my top pick has to be 11260 Upper Creek Robotics. They were with the world champs, so it's hard not to pick them to win this event. The robot is just fast and they're good at driving. I think that's like what really sets them apart. The way that they can drive that turret is absolutely incredible. At Worlds, they did get away with some defense being played on them, but it wasn't that hard defense. I expect a lot more aggressive defense to be played at CRI since you have a more of a mix of teams. Some of which may not have the scoring potential that we had at Worlds. And so I'm excited to see how they adapt to a little bit more aggressive defense. Now people have had, 2 to 3 months to figure out how Upper Creek can get shut down. Let's see if that pans out here.
Yeah, and I think their drivetrain is just going to make them super versatile on the field because they can just traverse over those barriers. They never have any issues going quickly or slowly over them. For those that don't know, they have like belts that spin with their drivetrain and allow them to go over the barrier like while maintaining constant contact with something that's also spinning.
Yeah, and the best part about the best part about the robot for them is that they can work on both the lines and shared, so they can go around like basically all 3 parts of the field, keep scoring, and it should be like good for most of the game.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, let's get on to my second top pick. I'm gonna have to go with Team 18255 Stealth Robotics from Illinois. Local team doesn't have to go too far for CRI. They were the winning alliance captain at their league championship, and in the semifinals as the second alliance captain at the Illinois State Championship. I think one of their biggest advantages are their driving. If you see in the teleop period of this qualification match specifically, they are just so fast around the field. And what's really interesting to me is like a couple times it looks like I don't know if they have like some sort of suspension system or something, but the barrier really isn't troubling them to like pass over it. And so they can have like slightly more efficient cycles. And I think again, this is one of those teams that's not going to be touching that co-op shared hub or the shared shipping hub. Like they're just going to be playing on that alliance hub. But that's what's going to win them those qualification matches and make them rank super high.
Yeah, really fast driving here, really efficient robot. It'll be interesting to see how they adapt to having such a big field and whether they're able to take that driver skill onto a bigger field.
Yeah, like a big field, it will help. Like with the fast robot on a big field, they should be able to go across it pretty easily, and that should be an advantage for them.
Definitely.
Yep. Sahil, what's your
Alright.
second pick?
For my second pick, I had to pick 10695 Theta. This team has a very well-built robot with a very unique drivetrain, allowing them to go easily over the barricades. They have like a great chance of competing on each side of the field, whether it's the shared or the alliance specific hub, and I think they'll definitely be a top choice for one of the alliances.
Yeah, no, I mean Theta Robotics, if I remember correctly, I think they were like the finalist alliance captain or on the finalist alliance of like every competition they went to. So they definitely have like what it takes to get to those last stages. And after all this time, I'm sure they're looking to, change that finalist alliance to a winning alliance title.
Yeah, that suspension keeps them really high off the ground. They're not going to get stuck on that barrier. We'll have to see just how well they are able to adapt to a new game, but hopefully they can get a win here. Cool.
Definitely.
All right, now it's time for my second pick. For my second pick, I had to take 13201 Team Hazmat. They're just on an upward trajectory this entire season, and I don't see that stopping with CRI. The base of their robot has stayed the same, but they've significantly improved since the Wisconsin State Championship to the World Championship. Those big Mechanim wheels are going to get handy with extra barriers in the CRI game. Plus, they're also going to be able to play some defense with that. And overall, they're just a solid, sturdy bot. Nothing much else to say here. They have been to the World Championship. They have that experience. And I think that they're just going to be able to keep on growing and get better at driving their bot.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think they remind me a lot of Swift this year. And, we saw how dangerous Swift was at MTI. I think their deposit, like being angled like that and being able to deposit like while it's down or up is going to make them super, super versatile for the shared hub.
Yeah, and I also think because of their like size and that kind of aspect, I feel like they could also be doing like a good amount of defense. It might be like not as much possible, but I feel like they could have a chance at it.
Yep. All right. Let's talk about a couple of dark horse teams. CRI features a ton of teams, but there are always a couple that may slip through the community or cracks. And people may have already counted them out. Boss, give us a team on your list that we should look out for.
Sure. I think this is definitely a little bit biased, but I'm gonna have to go with my old team, Team 516 Gears of Fire, as my dark horse team. They were on the winning alliance this year at the Florida State Championship, but have since then rebuilt for CRI. I think they're looking to specialize more on that co-op hub, and it'll be interesting to see like how the whole rebuild comes together. As long as everything's like consistent, reliable, they should be pretty fast and quick on the field. But again, there's always a risk with rebuilding, so we'll have to see if it pays off.
Yeah,
Sahil,
I
what's
saw
your dark
them
horse?
compete at the Florida State Championships, and their drivers are really good, very fast, and they definitely practice a lot. So I feel like they're like with their new design, even I bet you they got enough practice time to be able to score effectively.
Yeah, looks like they've got a multi-dimensional, multi-degree of freedom arm that could definitely help them score quickly. Sahil, what's your dark horse?
For my dark horse pick, I picked a team that not many people talk about, Team 14596 XLR8. They have a very simple robot that looks like one to rely on, with its front side intake that gets deposited by a linear slide. They're also present at the World Championships and ranked 19 in the Jemison division, so they definitely have experience of how to go into a tough competition.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I think you
overall,
brought up a super good point with the fact that they've played at Worlds. They know like what top tier competition looks like, and it'll be interesting to see like if they've changed it a lot since they've had like 2.5 months of an off season, like if they decide to make changes for CRI or if they're just going to like continue with what they have.
Yeah, I'm surprised this team doesn't get talked about more. They always have a solid bot. They made it to Worlds, right? Like, what else can you ask for? And they were ranked in the top half at Worlds. It's exciting to see that they're going to be here, and I think definitely a dark horse. Cool. All right, for my dark horse, I've got Team 14204 Super Screen Bros. They've got a super small, fast robot that can score very quickly. They continually improve throughout the season, being the finalist alliance captain at the Illinois State Championship, and I think them being finalist alliance captain just makes them a little bit stronger because they have a chip on their shoulder. They want to win it, and they clearly have shown that they can get to a point where they're close to winning. And I think here they're going to try to close it out. They've had a ton of time to improve, haven't had the distraction of having to go to the World Championship. They can just focus on their robot or focus on improving their team. And I'm really hoping that that all pays off and they are my dark horse.
Yeah, I think one thing that's really important with the small robots is that with the 2 additional barriers, like separating like the new part of the field and the old part of the field, the gap between them is 26 inches, which means that if you have an 18-inch robot in there, or like, something like a 14, 15, 16-inch robot in there, you don't have a lot of space for the second robot to go through, or any, if that. So, I think that's going to be super viable for teams to sit there, make sure the other alliance can't get those parking points at the end of the game or something like that. But I feel like that's something Super Screen Bros could get past, and overcome.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. That's going to wrap up our dark horses and teams that we're going to look at. We're going to now look at the match schedule. Each of us picked out a must-watch match for CRI. Sahil. Oh, actually, give me a second. We have an ad from MSOE. Thank you to our sponsors, MSOE. Tyler, could you go forward and play the...
What if you could work side by side with the leader in your field from day one? Can a city be both big and small, where you'll find opportunity and community in the same place? What if hands-on learning today led to real-world application tomorrow? What if next-generation technology brought your ideas to life? What if the people who push you forward are also the ones to pull you up? And can the next 4 years get you ready to take on the next 40? MSOE. Rethink what's possible.
All right, let's now hop into the match schedule. Before we release it, each of us picked out a match that we have to watch at CRI. Sahil, start us off with your first featured match. Who's playing and your prediction?
For my predicted match, it will be Qualification Match 11 with Gears of Fires up against 12835 Pixelated. They're both very good robots and they're going to have great drivers on their team, so it's going to be very interesting to see how they play out against each other. And we can't also disclude their alliance members, which will include teams 15887, 13201, 10355, and 19093. All those will add up and create a really high scoring match, in my opinion. What do you guys think?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think a team I really want to talk about that we didn't choose as a dark horse or topic just because there were so few teams we could choose is Project Peacock 10355. They have just one of the coolest robots I've seen this year. I mean, aesthetically, function, form, everything. It's just really a top tier robot, and I'm so excited to see it play in person.
Yeah, I can't pick against Pixelated, but it's definitely going to be a close match. Interested to see how strategies come out in terms of defense against Pixelated or Gears of Fire.
Definitely.
Cool. For my match, your must-watch is Qualification Match number 19 with Team 15993 Info Robotics, 11099 the Taco Bots, and 14204 Super Screen Bros versus 5037 Got Robot, 17532 Centered Robotics, and 516 Gears of Fire. this match is cool because you got a Romanian team on either side, and you're going to see a lot of scoring, especially from 14-204 and 5-1-6. I would not be surprised to see some defense being played to try to slow down those teams. And I think this one's going to be close because you got one really high scorer on each alliance and two versatile bots that can be used in many ways to help them out. Also, don't discount Got Robot. They're a veteran team. They know what they're doing. They've played so many matches. I think that could be the deciding factor in this match, and I have to pick their alliance.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I think, you really summed it up, like one or two really high scoring robots on each alliance and two versatile robots. And honestly, that's just like, those are some of the most exciting matches to watch always, because they're just like nail biters the whole way through. I'm personally really interested to see like how often teams try to balance that shared shipping hub. Like in theory, sure, it's like a lot of points, but like when I'm just like imagining it in my head and I'm thinking like they are screaming at the other, no, you place the freight now, you place the freight now. Like I just don't see it working like as efficiently as it is in theory.
Yeah, like I said before, all those Romanian teams competing, and they really had like a really strong competition. So seeing them play it out in this event will be really interesting to watch.
All right, I'm gonna have to talk about qualification number 20. I mean, it's predicted to be like the highest score at at CRI, and I think this is really similar to qualification 3 at MTI, where we had both technical difficulties and Delta Force on the lines. I mean, with both Pixelated and Upper Creek on alliance, like that's just gonna be crazy. And I think their alliance partner, Spare Parts Robotics, is definitely no slouch either. They were the alliance they were on the winning alliance at their league championship, and they've definitely had a lot of time to work on their robot and stuff. I think, I just can't wait to see what these teams decide to do. If Upper Creek is going to run shared hub, if they're going to run co-op hub. I don't see them running alliance just because they're with Pixelated, but it's just going to be an outrageous match either way.
Yep, exciting to see. Should be the highest scoring match. Hopefully we'll be able to see that actually pan out the way we think it will. You could always see a lot of high scoring robots not work well together, and hopefully they're able to make it happen.
Yeah.
All right. So with that be, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was saying maybe hopefully there could be like maybe a new high score for a world record.
Yeah. I think we will see world records because this is a 3v3 event where there are more scoring potential on the field, but I think that could be the high scoring matchup of the day. So with that being said, let's release the match schedule for many of you to dissect. A reminder from the event, if a team does not show, the schedule will be reran. So lots could change, but this is still fun to talk about. Keep in mind that many teams have made modifications for CRI, so it could be anyone's game. With that being said, let's hear from our sponsors, Stryker.
I love working for Stryker.
I'm genuinely excited to come to work every day.
The minute you walk through that door, you know you are part of something special.
We support each other and look out for each other.
I love Stryker because we are like a family.
At Stryker, I own my career.
There are so many different places Stryker can take me in the next 5 years.
Noi crediamo che quello che facciamo è molto importante.
Together,
with our
customers,
we are driven
to make
healthcare better.
Great people with a strong mission and values can accomplish great things together.
All right. Check the chat for the CRI schedule, and let's now hear our final predictions for CRI. Who do you think is going to pair up and take it all? Abbas, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I got to take Upper Creek for winning it all. It's going to be interesting to see who they pick, but I think their biggest advantage is their co-op hub auto. It's something we really haven't talked about a lot yet, but I'm pretty sure I saw a video floating around on the Discord of them doing like a 1+9 scored, but they attempted like a 1+11 or something just absolutely crazy like that. And I think the big advantage with this is that when you have that many freight on the hub, I mean, it's obviously going to be tipped towards you, but I honestly think teams haven't really I don't know if teams have really figured out how they plan to place freight on that co-op hub after it's tipped away from them. Because normally in the with the shared shipping hub, the hub is on to the side of you, right? But with the co-op hub, because it's in front, or because it's in front of you, when it's tipped away from you, it's slope downwards. So it's really difficult to place freight there unless you can go like over and around, or you place from the side, which is definitely going to slow your cycles down as compared to the team that has it tipped towards them. As for alliance partners, I think Pixelated definitely a safe pick. You know, obviously they're a very good team, but I think it's one of those cases where you just don't want to play against them. You know, like even though Upper Creek has a better auto than Pixelated, they just don't want to play against Pixelated's auto and risk anything. And then I'm going to have to go with a team that's good at the traditional shared shipping hub. I don't think they'd really pick a co-op partner. For me, that's going to have to be Hazmat Robotics. I mean, as I said earlier today, they remind me a lot of Swift, and Swift did very well. I see Hazmat doing similarly.
All right, for me, I'm going to throw out something controversial. I see Pixelated and Hazmat getting together and beating out Upper Creek. Upper Creek's going to be tough to beat, but I think with a big robot like Hazmat, it's possible. Hazmat and Upper Creek will both go for that shared hub. Hazmat will be able to just use brute force to overpower Upper Creek and take the shared hub, and that will really decide what happens in the match. I also think that geographically, Hazmat and Pixelated are nearby-ish. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but I think that they may have gotten some practice, and they could definitely make something happen here.
Yeah, I had a similar feeling. Like coming down to the finals, it would be Upper Creek versus Pixelated, and we're gonna have like some similar facings like how we did at MTI with Delta Force against Pixelated, and basically it just comes down to having one member of the three alliances be dedicated to the shared, and then one of each do the alliance specific, and then if it works possible to do the nearby one or defense, and then they can pretty much just get it all in their box.
Yeah, no, I think you bring up a super good point, Sahil. With the normal shared hub, the risk with playing defense is if the other alliance wins that tip early, then playing defense is like really difficult because you have to win that tip back and play defense. But with the co-op shipping hub, nobody's trying to balance it. Like balancing the co-op shipping hub won't win you a match unless you have more freight on that side, but it's still balanced. And so I think playing defense and not letting anyone score on that co-op hub could definitely be a super smart play by teams.
Great. CRI will be this Saturday at twitch.tv/firstupdatesnow. We'll have a full match replay and breakdowns after each match, so especially make sure you stay tuned for the playoffs Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, and thank you all for all the follows and subscriptions we received today. Don't forget that you can subscribe for free through Twitch Gaming. We hope you enjoyed this episode of FTC Live, and if you want to stay connected with what First Updates Now FTC is doing, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all with the handle @FunFTC, and join our Discord through the link in the chat.
On behalf of myself, Sahil, Abbas, we'd like to thank you for tuning in. Keep an eye out for future FTC content, and we'll see you at CRI.
This video on First Updates Now is made possible by viewers like you and also the following sponsors. Discover MSOE, where hands-on learning today can lead to real-world applications tomorrow, including their We Energy STEM Center built to support FIRST teams. Head on over to msoe.edu/visit to see a virtual tour and schedule your campus visit today. Apply the skills you gained as a FIRST student or mentor and help change the world at Stryker. Stryker is the top career choice for many of those in FIRST because of their commitment to innovation and saving lives. Learn more about the incredible culture at Stryker and view their thousands of positions available around the world at careers.stryker.com. Thanks for watching. If you want to join us for future fun streams, be sure to click the follow button and turn on the notification bell to know when we're live. Keep the conversation going and provide your input to our content. View archives and unique content at youtube.com/firstupdatesnow. Join our Discord at discord.gg/firstupdatesnow and check out Fun FTC on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and First Updates Now on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.